welcome to another episode of Insufficient Friends. I'm Kevin, she's Stevie.
Hi.
And, Steve?
Another week.
It was kind of cold this week.
Yeah, you know I love that.
Yeah, I know. You do very much so.
Yeah, I think it was the general consensus was that it got too cold way too quick, and everyone was upset about it. So I didn't feel like I was in the wrong.
No. Well, it seems like we've talked about this. Well, me and you haven't, but I've talked about this with people before, and even here recently. It seems like Missouri now gets like 1 week of fall and 1 week of spring. It goes from summer, and then you get 1 week of like nice temperatures in the fall, and then it's winter.
Right.
And the same thing goes when you go to spring. But yeah. So that ended up causing some troubles for you on Monday.
Yeah, big time.
Cuz I got a text.
So, okay.
Okay. You want to tell it? Okay, go for it.
Because Kevin is kind of the person I text or call if, like, I need immediate assistance and I'm not sure I can. Kevin's just, I feel like he's kind of like a big brother. I feel like everyone kind of sees him that way. Dad, father figure. Like, when my dad is 30, 40 minutes away, I'm like, okay, well, what is Kev doing? If, no one else, like, that just is my go-to. I don't know why. He just is like, he can fix things, And so Monday, I went to air up my tires because they were low, and I know how to do it. I swear, I've done it a lot of times. And I go to one specific place to do it because I like it there. And I know how to use the things, and it's not in a sketchy area. And this particular day, they were not working. But there was no sign that said they were not working. So I go to fill up my tires, and they're just going down. Like, my tire was at, like, 15 PSI. It's supposed to be at, like, 32.
Yeah.
So that was pretty scary. And I tried to have, like, I was like, maybe I am doing it wrong. So other people around me were trying to help me. And then they're like, well, let me try it on my car. No one's was working. So it was, okay, it's probably the machine. Mm-hmm. And it's 30 degrees. So at this point, like, I couldn't even do it if I tried. I couldn't feel my hands. And I was getting so annoyed. I'm already 30 minutes late to work. Like, at that point, I wasn't going to make it on time even if I tried. And then the guy that, like, worked there came out, tried to help. And eventually I was able to, there was, like, across the street, like, a automotive shop. And they just took my car inside their shop and did it for free. And I was so grateful. I didn't even know they did that for you. So.
Yeah, I mean.
Note to self.
I can.
If you go in there with tears in your eyes and you say, hey, all the air is out of my tires. I'm really scared. I need to get to work. They will probably do it for you. In my experience.
That's an advantage for being a young girl doing not.
Maybe.
Yeah, probably. Maybe not, but yeah, but this isn't the first time that we've that Steve's had car issues and that I've gotten a phone call for them.
A text.
Yeah. There's no phone calls.
I'm not crazy. I'm not that crazy. No, but I've been wanting to tell this story on here for a while, but I didn't know. I was thinking of the right time. It's actually, so this coming Friday will be the 2-year anniversary.
How do you know
that?
Saturday.
Because it was a holiday, a bank holiday, and that when the story I'm about to tell happened, because I knew you would be off of work, at least,
Okay.
So that's how I remember it. Is it Friday or Saturday? Friday. Veterans Day.
Okay.
And that's how I remember. Because it was the most glorious day up until this point. So 2 years ago, I'll try not to ramble, but there's a lot of, like, backstory that goes into it. So 2 years ago, at this time in my life, my schedule was the craziest it has ever been. Like, class-wise, work-wise, I just was all over the place all the time. And it felt like I could never get a break. And Veterans Day was on a Thursday. And Thursdays, I only had one class. And Fridays, I only worked for like 2 hours in the afternoon, but this Friday I had taken off. So like Thursday was here. I was so excited for the weekend. My one class was over, and I was gonna go shopping. I did go shopping, and it was glorious. I was having the best day. And I do some damage in the mall. I'm walking back to the car. I have all my bags on me. For some reason that day, I decided not to lock my car, which ended up being good because I opened the door and I'm like, okay, great. Let me, get situated. I couldn't find my keys, but they're probably somewhere. So I get situated and I set all my bags down in my car and I'm looking for my keys. And they're not in my purse and they're not in any of the bags I have. And I'm like, a little bit of panic is setting in, but I'm trying to remain calm. And I'm looking under all my seats in my car. I'm looking right in the parking lot, and I don't find anything. So I'm going to retrace my steps. The first person I call in any type of inconvenience is my dad. So I call my dad.
Sense. Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, just in case I don't find them, like, what do I do? And he's, 30, 40 minutes away from me, and he's like, I would rather not come and get you. I can if I need to, but, like, let's think about your options. Who's around that could come get you. Ask, like, the mall lost, security where the lost and found is, see if anyone turns it in. Retrace every single step. You have nowhere to be. Go through every single store. Like, look through every single one, see if they found any keys. Surely someone would turn in, like, an entire set of keys, you would think.
Yeah.
And then if that doesn't happen, no one can come pick you up, like, call an Uber, you'll be fine. Just figure out, like, how to get home from there. And so I'm still kind of calm, but, like, kind of stressed. And I'm walking through all the stores again. And I start texting my friends. No one. And I mean, like, no one. I don't have that many friends. But at the time, my boyfriend didn't have a car. So he's not picking me up. He had a friend that was in class and wasn't answering his phone that had a car and could pick me up, but he wasn't answering. And it was like, okay, by the time he would have gotten to his car, it would have been hours, so I wasn't going to do that. I had one friend who was at work and couldn't leave. One friend who was in class wasn't answering. Our friend Nikki actually did have to work this day, so she was off out of the list. And then it's like, okay, who am I comfortable enough at that point to actually ask to come get me and not feel like terrible for the rest of my life? Because, like, I could have called a lot of people, but I'm not calling, like, someone I haven't talked to, whatever. Yeah. Like, it comes to a point where there's only so many people I feel comfortable asking to come get me. So, it was probably 2:30 or 3, which is usually about the time you go to bed.
Yeah, it was by bedtime.
So
I was getting ready to go to bed.
I was, like, really nervous. But I said, this is my last hope. I wouldn't be doing this, and he knows I wouldn't be doing this if I wasn't freaking out or, like, in an emergency. So I'm like, hey, any chance you could just swing by the mall, pick me up, take me to my house, and bring me back before you go to bed? And, of course, Kev to the rescue, thankfully. I'm forever grateful. He came and got me. I never found my keys. To this day, never heard a peep about those keys, and that's fine. I had a spare. I knew exactly where it was. My house. My roommate was able to unlock the door for me, so I didn't need a key for that. We were able to, make a copy. I got all my things back just fine. But if I lose this one, I am, like, actually really in big trouble. So.
Did you not get another spare made after this? After that?
No, because they're $500.
Yeah, they're not cheap. I've had them made because they're not.
If you would like to pay for it, I will gladly get a spare made. But I can't do that. So no, I haven't. But I have a tracker.
On your keys?
Yeah. Okay. I have a tile.
Okay. Well, that helps. That helps a lot.
Yes.
I got those for my vacation to put on my luggage, which was really nice because then it's just like if your luggage is on your plane or not when you're going somewhere.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like a very inexpensive and easy way to be able to figure out if things were.
They're like
there.
$20 around that, maybe more, maybe less. But like people get AirTags. Those things are $100. Why would you do that when you could get a tile? A tile is. I'm actually probably gonna get another one. $22. The one I have. Easy.
I bought a pack of 3 or 4. They're not tile. They're I don't remember what they're called. They're smart tags. That's what they are. They're Samsung branded.
Okay.
so they match with my compatible with.
Well,
my
tile's compatible with everything.
It is. It is.
Everyone needs one.
It is.
So what was your perspective of that day? What was running through your mind?
Nothing. Had a friend call that needed help. Okay.
Was any part of you like, really? Why me? It's okay.
No, it wasn't why me. No, because that's not how I think about things. It was probably comedy. It was probably comical.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah, this is... Yeah,
all right,
okay.
I guess.
You lost your keys. Okay, well, I'll be there whenever. It was kind of the same thing on Monday. It's like, okay.
Well, okay, yeah.
Which surprised me also. Because when I text you back, or I called you when I was getting ready to leave to go to where you were, and you told me you had figured something out.
Yeah.
On this Monday.
Yeah.
When you had your air tire issue. Mm-hmm. I figured you were at the Conley, or at the gas station that's closer to our house.
They don't have a thing. I've tried there. They don't have a pump.
At the one on...
The Hy-Vee?
On Conley?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't.
Because I've used it.
Last time I was there, maybe it just has never been working, and that's why I avoid it, and that's just what I was in my head.
I've used it 3 or 4 times.
Oh,
which is why I was like, why are you on this side? Like, this is way out of your way. But, I mean, if you say that you like it because it's safer and you know it works, that's fine.
I always go down just because I feel like it's the safest.
Okay.
Like that break time has one, I will never go there by myself to use that air pump at the one by, like, our apartment.
Oh. Well, yeah, I get that.
I just don't like this area very much, so I wouldn't do anything by myself here. But, anyway.
But I just was surprised because I got in my car and I look over and you're like, because I'm asking like where, you're at this one and you're like, no, I'm here. And I look over and I could see you across the parking lot.
Well, that particular time, the reason why I texted you was because I was like, okay.
He's going to be here.
If I have like just need like help or have like a question, like Kev is right there, like literally feet away from me. So that is I would not have texted you if I was at any other one.
Okay.
In that instance, probably I would have just figured out something else. But that was also a time where I was just like, I was frantic. So like I was texting my boyfriend, I was texting you, trying to just be like, okay, realistically, what do I do? Because like I don't think I could have driven anywhere more than what the distance of that car shop was. It wouldn't have been like safe for my car, I don't think.
If your tires are that low, no, probably not.
Exactly.
How many did you have that low?
2.
Okay. I was going to say
it was like a side of my car.
If you had just one, you could just put the spare on there.
And that was probably a good next step. Once again, I would have had to have help with.
Do you don't have AAA or roadside assistance on your insurance or anything like that? Do you have roadside assistance on your insurance?
I don't know.
Okay.
I could look it up.
Yeah, you can always call places like that too, because they send out people to help you with these things. Like if you break down, if you run out of gas or anything like that, you can call those. And if you pay for the service already, then the getting them there is free because you're already paying for the service.
Right, and this was just not that urgent to me. I don't know. I just felt like surely there's something else I can do or something else someone could do in this moment to help me than having to get my car wasn't going to be taken in anywhere. I just could feel, I was like, this isn't necessary.
No, but like I said, again, I say like AAA will come out if you run out of gas on the side of the road and they'll bring gas to put in your car.
Okay.
So like and all roadside assistance, my car wouldn't start 1 year out here because the battery died. I called my insurance for roadside assistance, and there was somebody here in like 30 minutes to jumpstart my car. Like that's what they do. So anything airing up a tire, they have an air pump on their truck. They can do it for you. So it's that kind of stuff. So like if you have that, that'll be good for you because I know you're moving. That'll be good for you when you go there. If you don't, to get something like that, so that you have a contact in case something happens.
That's probably good.
Because you're not going to have a bunch of people to call in St. Louis because I can't drive. Me and your dad can't drive 2 hours to get you.
Might have more than I do now.
That's you got Will's family there, so that might help. But But St. Louis is also a bigger city, so.
Right. I mean, that was like also a lesson, and it was very avoidable. My air tire thing came on, and I was like, I might as well go fill it up. I'll be early to work. I could have made the day without doing that, and then maybe gone somewhere when I had more time and wasn't so flustered because, like, oh, I have to get to work.
Yeah.
I could have done something else, and there was just many other things that I could have done that made this situation avoidable.
This just adds to your car.
Yeah, no, I've never.
You hate cars. You hate cars. You hate driving.
Not true. I like being able to have the independence of having a car because I don't want to have to like rely on anyone else to get me anywhere I need to go.
Yeah.
But if I could choose to live somewhere that was just walking distance from like a grocery store, work, and like a gym, I would live there 1,000%.
Yeah.
And just not have to drive as much. But I like being able to be like, oh, I want to go somewhere great. Let me get my car. I don't want to have to rely on other people. I don't mind driving in like sunny weather with like 2 lanes of traffic.
Yeah.
That's fine. But I feel like I've had more issues more harm than help.
Yeah.
With cars.
But
that's just me.
I mean, yeah, that happens. Like, it's just, I don't know.
I think everyone, that's not I'm not like alone here. I think everyone, once I got to work that day and told them what happened, everyone starts like telling their stories and stuff.
Everybody has.
It could just always be worse.
Things happen. Like, I mean, the time, like I said, when I couldn't get my car started, it was because the battery was it was a little old at that point, and I ended up getting a new battery, but there was also snow on the ground, and it was like 15 degrees outside, which doesn't help for trying to start your car at 1 o'clock in the morning. So there's always things that can happen. Like, it's just part of it. But
right. I just feel like the feeling of your car being somewhere, especially if it's on the side of the road, that's the worst. Because then you feel like I don't know, maybe it's just being a girl, but then you feel like I'm in danger if I'm just on the side of the road somewhere. Versus if I'm in like a gas station parking lot, well, I don't really feel like I'm in danger.
Yeah.
I would love to not be stuck there or feel like I'm stuck anywhere. But
it's less, it's not as bad if you're in like in a parking spot somewhere, or even a parking lot at the mall where you're just sitting there. It's not as bad. Yeah.
Oh, and I have nowhere to be. Like that was probably one of the more chill car incidents.
Yeah.
But it just feels like I feel like dumb. I'm like, this is so avoidable. Like, why me? Like, you just start spiraling.
I mean, but it's not dumb. It's just.
Well, I know that now.
It's just
like
happens.
In the moment.
Speaking of, I love cars. I love driving. I love cars.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could have multiple cars. Like, I wish I could have like 15, 20 different cars and just drive different ones all the time, and I'd love it. I know you don't.
I would like to have other cars so that if something happens to this piece of crap, I have a backup, because something was always happening to it.
See, the thing, like, the cars that I want, though, are old anyway, so there's more chance of something happening to them because they're old. Now, you'd have to keep them up, but
figure that out.
It's just, but I love cars. I think they're pretty. Like, I think they're fun, and I like driving, so.
I've never, and this is unrelated to, like, any of my car issues. I've never, like, really been intrigued by any specific, like, I feel like everyone kind of has, like, their dream car. Especially as I've gotten older, like, I don't care. I just want something that is, like, honestly cheap.
Yeah.
Cheap to fix, because you're gonna have to fix it.
Yeah.
When I was younger, the only car I ever kind of, like, dreamt about or, like, fantasized was a Cadillac, like, DTS, because my grandparents have had Cadillacs, and it's just very, like, I think I'm in the Italian Mafia, so, like, I feel like I need something like a Cadillac when I'm older. Like that's my dream car.
We've talked about the Cadillac. You love Cadillacs.
That's the only
Which
car I care about is a Cadillac.
That's a very uncommon thing for a car for a young person to want, because a Cadillac has always been known as an old person's car. Which you also had a Buick, which is also known as an old person car, and that was one of your favorite cars that you've had. So
which got rear-ended and totaled within a year that I had it. So more reasons to love having a car.
Steve doesn't like cars.
No, the Cadillac I loved when I had it. I had a Cadillac. You didn't know.
Yeah,
Actually,
I knew you had a Cadillac.
Barely. Like I bought the day I finally.
I don't know that I ever saw it, but I know that you had one.
Right. I meant like you didn't know me with a Cadillac. The day I bought the Buick was like that was my last week at the other branch that I worked at before I came.
Okay.
Worked with you guys. So like I think the day I came, you weren't there because it was at like 4:30 on like a Tuesday or something. I came and met and introduced myself to everyone at your branch, and I saw my Cadillac that day. So it must have been like that was like a Tuesday. It must have been like Wednesday to Friday when I bought my car. So fun. I literally on my lunch break went to the dealership, took everything out of my Cadillac, put everything in the Buick, signed paperwork, and came back to work and was like, well, there it goes.
Yeah. I've done that before. I did that with the car that I have now several years ago.
Yeah.
Almost 10 years ago.
How many cars have you had?
4.
Me too.
Yeah, but I've had the one that I've had now, I've had since before you started driving. So, because I've had it for 9 years, since 2014.
Okay, then yeah.
Yeah, you weren't.
I was a couple years off.
Yeah.
My first car, I loved that car too. It got totaled. Got rear-ended.
I mean, hey, 2 of mine got totaled too, so it's
okay.
not
Well,
like
that makes me feel better.
It happened.
None were my fault. BTW. The second one was like
1 was my fault.
way not my fault.
1 was my fault. The
First
other one was not. But
debatable, but I wasn't gonna. For legal reasons, it was not my fault.
So, out of all your cars that you've had, is the Cadillac your favorite, or was the Buick your favorite? Because I know you don't like this one that much.
I hate this car.
It's not a bad car.
It's not a bad car, but it's the fact that the Buick was the first car I ever bought.
Yeah.
And like the fact that I could buy a car, like it was a long process getting that car because we looked at so many. I didn't want to just buy the first car that I saw that was like decent. And I just loved it. I liked that it was what's the word? It's not like a tiny car, but it's not an SUV.
It's a crossover.
It's a crossover.
It's a little crossover.
And I loved it. It was perfect for me.
Yeah. It was very much like you. Like
Yes.
it was just a little.
And it was like, it just was perfect. I loved everything about it. And then, of course, it got totaled. And I wanted to fix it so bad. It would have been $11,000 to fix, probably. So, great. Here's the money. Go buy a new car. And at that, so now, like, buying the car I have now, my first car I ever bought that I loved just got totaled. I have no car, and I was driving a rental, and I couldn't keep that, obviously, without paying hundreds of dollars every single day. Mm-hmm. So I was in a time crunch. My dad had come to Columbia to help me car shop again. It felt like we had just done that months before, and I was just so tired of that process and didn't care. The first car they showed me that I was like, this is decent. It's a decent price. I was like, okay, that's fine. And it was this car. So I just don't. It's just like
you don't have any.
I didn't ask for it. You know, I didn't want to. I didn't care to put in any more. I couldn't be bothered to like shop anymore that day, and I didn't want to wait any longer and try to go shopping. You know, another day for a car. Car shopping's not just like, oh, let me go on my lunch break and go look at cars and possibly buy one. That's like, it's a process. So,
I mean, that's what I did, but yeah.
Oh, when I went on my lunch break, I'd already bought the car. I was just like picking it up. And
no. I went like on my lunch, because I was looking at them kind of online. I was just looking for stuff. And on my lunch break, I went and looked at it. I drove it off the lot to test drive it. They're like, yeah, you know, keep it, whatever. We'll start working on paperwork and stuff. And after I got off work, I went back and finished it all up and left with it.
In my experience,
It's usually not like
I
that.
was gonna say, in my experience, it's a reeling process, and it's terrible. But my favorite car, that is tough, because I honestly really loved my first car because it was my dad's, and it was a 2007, and I think by now I probably wouldn't have it anyway.
Yeah.
But I would have tried to have kept it as long as possible if I didn't get it, if it wasn't totaled. Because, like, I, like, grew up in that car, so I loved that car. And I loved, and my dad had put in his own radio.
Yeah.
So, and I just loved, I thought that was so cool. I loved that car. And
What
I
was it?
loved, it was a Sonata, Hyundai Sonata.
Okay.
And then after that, I had my Cadillac. The Cadillac was really, really cool because it was like, it was I think earlier I said my dream car was a Cadillac DTS. That's not true. That's what I had. I want an Escalade. That would be my
Okay.
dream. But anyway, I had a Cadillac DTS 2008, and it was like back when the Cadillacs were like flat in the front and the back, like, and they were like, they kind of looked like the coffin cars.
A hearse?
A hearse. They looked a little hearsey. They were like a shrunken hearse almost. And they looked, it was just, I thought it was just so funny but cool that like a 18-year-old girl was driving around in this like old Cadillac. I just loved that. But then the Buick was like, I bought that. I'm going to go with the Cadillac was my favorite because I wasn't even in the Buick long enough to honestly even remember.
Okay.
I did love it the 6 months that I had it, but I feel like I couldn't even tell you like one special thing about that car because I don't remember. But the Cadillac, that was cool.
Okay.
It had like the clock on it. It wasn't a digital one. It had like
It was an analog clock.
yeah, and I liked that. And it was sleek.
Yeah.
And I remember every day coming back like when like going to the parking lot when school was out. And everyone was walking to their cars, and it just stuck out. It was so, like, clearly no one else had a car that was like that. Everyone had, like, Jeeps or Toyotas
Yeah.
and there was my Cadillac.
Steve's
And
Cadillac.
everyone just knew, like,
Steve's
it was
Cadillac.
Steve's Mafia car, and I just thought it was so cool.
What color was it? Was it black? Okay. My favorite car was my first one.
And what was that?
It was a Ford Explorer SUV.
Okay. And those are really popular. That's like what police drive?
Yes, but it wasn't that model. Mine was
Sure.
mine was the 2001, so it was like the same model that my parents had when I was a kid, just newer. But
Right.
I liked that car. It was just a black SUV. My parents had bought me a stereo system to put in it for Christmas one year,
that's
so I had a nice stereo system in it, but that got totaled. That one was my fault. That happened in New England when I was doing door-to-door sales as an internship.
Awful.
So
That's
my
terrible.
dad and uncle had to drive 20 hours to come pick me up, and that was a big old ordeal. So, and then we had to drive 20 hours back.
That would have been the worst day of my life.
Yeah, it wasn't fun.
No. You couldn't, so like, realistically, like, no one else could have, where were you staying?
At some dude's house that we were renting.
You couldn't have been like, hey, can you come pick me up?
Well, I mean, I got a ride to the house.
Okay.
Like,
I thought you meant like you were stuck on the side of the road.
No. I mean, I was stuck on the side of the road for a while because I waited for the tow truck.
Right, okay.
And then when the tow truck got there, he took me I rode with him to where he dropped the car off, which was like a dealership body shop type place. And then I sat there for probably 3 or 4 hours until somebody could come pick me up and then take me back to where we were staying.
Right.
That whole ordeal was that whole summer, that internship was just a cluster anyway.
That sounds
So
awful.
it was it was not fun. I ended up they right after I got into that crash, they still wanted me to keep working for this internship. So a day later, they're like, "Oh yeah, just go to the town you're supposed to be in and just walk." So I walked from door to door for several hours, and then eventually I was just like, yeah, I'm done with this, and I just sat down on a park bench until somebody came and picked me up, because somebody had to drop me off in the town, because
Right.
the town was like 20 minutes away from where we were staying. So somebody dropped me off. I walked around and did some stuff for like several hours, like probably two thirds of the day, and then after that I was like, yeah, I'm done with this, and I sat down on the park bench, and I called my dad. I'm like, yeah, I'm done with this. If you can come pick me up, that'd be great. And him and my uncle, I think, left that afternoon maybe and headed up there, and
God.
I came
20 hours.
yeah, because I was in Connecticut. I was in almost in Massachusetts. I was in the corner, like the county that I was in was bordered both Massachusetts and Rhode Island. So I was up in the far corner of Connecticut.
That's terrible. Also, a little unrelated, an internship where you're doing door-to-door sales that's a scam. Not an internship.
Yeah, it is a scam.
Oh my gosh.
I would not recommend it to anyone. I'm not going to say what it is, but I wouldn't recommend it to anyone.
I can't believe. I would have.
It was supposed to be like a prestigious, like, there's been a lot of people that have done it. It's not a very common one to do. I also got offered the Disney internship program, and I realized I should have done that one instead. Now I got offered to apply for that.
Okay.
I didn't get offered to go. That one was.
So you were like, I could apply and still not maybe.
I could apply and still not go, and I thought that this one might. They just made it seem good, and
because I've heard you talk about this before, and like some of like the stuff they'd have you guys do to like practice and train.
Yep.
It sounds bizarre.
Yeah, it
sounds like a pyramid.
Looking back, it kind of is. Looking back on it, it's not a good idea. I should have done the Disney one. That would have been much more fun for me, especially.
Duh.
But
that's crazy that you. Which I get. Like if you didn't know.
Yeah.
You
like,
really thought like this could be a good opportunity. Like that stuff is hard to choose. Like especially like if you think it's gonna help you in your future, and you don't know.
Like I read a lot of stuff on the Disney one, and I was like, okay, well you can end up literally anywhere. You don't know what you're going to do. Like this, I knew, like this is exactly what you do. Everybody does the same thing. You just don't know where you're at in the country.
Right.
Versus Disney, it's like, okay, well you have a small chance of getting it because it's not and this one was kind of the same way. Like you didn't have a big chance of getting it. Like it was supposed to be a prestigious one as well. And it just, so this is the one that I ended up going with. I should have gone with the Disney one, but I didn't.
I won't make you feel more bad about that. You probably already regret it.
Don't know why I didn't go with the Disney one. But anyway, it is what it is. It's that was, I don't know, 15 years ago.
Right.
Like that. So.
God, that is. You're a better person than I am.
It was a learning experience.
Yeah.
It was a very good learning experience. Yeah. But other than that, that was my favorite car. I wish I still had that. Well, I probably wouldn't have that car by now. It was a 2001, but...
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the Cadillac, it was... I had, like, steam coming out of it. Like, I had to take it in.
You had to get rid of it.
Like, it was not going to survive any longer.
Okay.
So, same situation. I wouldn't still have that today, even if...
Yeah, I mean, the Explorer didn't... No, I think it had about 100,000 miles on it when it got rid of it. So, yeah, I don't know. It probably wouldn't have lasted a whole lot longer.
It, like, the coolant was always something was always wrong with the coolant.
Yeah.
And it was an old car.
Yeah. Well, anyway. So, this week, we watched Cabaret.
Yes.
1972.
Yes.
You said before we started that you had already watched it.
Yeah. I watched like a summarized video of it just to like remember everything.
Okay.
But yeah, I've seen it a couple times.
I had never seen it. Didn't know anything about what to expect. Didn't realize it was based in the time that Nazi Germany was a thing.
Yes.
So what are your... Because I have some thoughts on this movie.
Okay.
But what do you like? Obviously you like it. You've said you've seen it a couple times.
Yeah. I like it, probably not for the reasons a lot of people would like I don't care about the history that much. I love the kind of like the origin of like cabaret style dance.
Okay.
And the movie Cabaret, the songs from Cabaret, and there's a second movie with a lot of popular songs in the dance world. Everyone does like cabaret something,
Okay.
Everyone, I remember, I think I was a sophomore in high school. I did my first like, it's called like doing like musical theater, but it's like Fosse. 'Cause
Okay.
that's the guy who like came up with like
The style of dance. or
yeah,
whatever?
it's a style of
Okay.
dance where it's like kind of campy, kind of kooky.
Mhm.
But I remember we put on we were wearing like they were dance shoes, but they had a heel on them,
Mhm.
and we had like little stools, which is questionable for a 16-year-old to be doing on a stage, but whatever. That's how the dance world is, and
Yeah, it's very. Yeah.
and I just remember being like, this is the coolest dance I'm ever gonna do. Like, this is like showbiz. Like, this is
Okay.
what like Broadway people do. And I loved the thought of like, maybe at that time I was still I was more into dance than I ended up being. So I
Mhm.
thought like, oh my gosh, this is great practice for like if I
Yeah.
ever want to like go audition somewhere someday. Like I know how to dance in heels. Like that was just so cool to me.
Okay.
And so that made me want to watch the movie. And I watched it once when I was young, and I watched it like probably in the past year. So that's why I like it. I like the musical theater aspect of it. I love Liza Minnelli. I think her characters are always kind of kooky, but I love them. I love them. So
I don't know
that's
if
why
I've
I
seen
like it.
anything else with her in it, so I might have and just not
Yeah.
realized it, but I don't know. Um, I didn't get it.
Okay.
I didn't really understand the plot. I didn't really understand, besides her performing in a cabaret, I didn't understand the constant cuts back to the cabaret in the middle of the movie where there's nothing like they're just
Oh,
doing a
sure.
performance and she's not even in some of them.
Yeah.
And I didn't get that. I didn't get the way. I didn't really get the flow of the movie. I didn't get the meaning. Like there's this weird love triangle halfway through or partway through, and then that just kind of ends, and they don't ever really talk about it anymore. And you have another couple that's like barely in it that meets and ends up getting married, but they're not. There's like nothing going on with them. It's just like little tiny bits and pieces specked throughout. It just didn't. It didn't seem cohesive to me. I didn't really get it. And maybe I'm an idiot. Well, I know I'm an idiot, but it doesn't like I didn't get it.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of unfortunate, but I just kind of think it's at least for me, like the scenes going back to the cabaret, I think that was just more of like showing the times. That's how I perceive it. Like that was something people would go to a lot. So it was like, doesn't really matter who's in that performance right now, but it was just like, oh, hey, by the way, this is happening. Have you ever seen Burlesque?
No.
Okay.
When you talked about this, like
Yeah.
cabaret, I mean, I know that, and I thought about like, is this kind of going to be the same thing?
Yeah.
Is Burlesque like a almost a remake of it or something? But I don't know. I've never seen either one.
I
of them,
think that, Burlesque is definitely, the storyline is much clearer.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think, I don't know who directed it, but I agree that like the plot is kind of all over the place. It's almost like I don't want to sound stupid. Like it's not. I don't think that it's not like an American movie, if that makes sense. Like it takes place in, where does it take place?
It takes place in Berlin.
Right, and I don't know, something about it is like the style of direction was probably very different than just what we're used to.
So it's based on a book.
That makes sense too.
But yeah, I don't know who the director was. Bob Fosse, which I'm guessing is the guy who came up with.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so that's where your dancing
Yeah.
came from. It's right here. I
And Bob Fosse is he's kind of all over the place in the
Okay.
way that this movie was.
well that makes sense then, because yeah, I just didn't get it. Like it was
It's okay.
kind of.
It's okay to be a hater.
I'm not a hate. Okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay. I sure.
No judgment.
Why not? Um, yeah. But I mean, everybody like somebody likes it. It's obviously on this list, so some people like it somewhere.
Right.
But
And
it wouldn't. It's probably not anything that I will ever watch again, unless
it's hard to
somebody
follow.
that I
can
know
admit that.
wants to watch it. And I even tried to look up like um different plots or whatever to see if I could find something. I didn't look really deep, but I tried to look up a couple things and I couldn't really find much on it. So I was just another thing that got that didn't, and this isn't, and this is a little bit different. It didn't. It's supposed to be set in the 30s,
Right.
in the 1930s.
Yeah. It was
But
like during war, or
no, so this is before. This is when the
Okay.
Nazis are coming
that's
to power.
right. That's right.
So, but it made me, it was made in the 70s, and it got a very 70s vibe from it.
Oh, for sure.
Even
For
everything
sure.
in the movie looks like it almost looks like it's from the 70s and not from the 30s, and that
I
threw
know.
me off a little bit too, because I'm like, okay, and that's probably from it being from the 70s and not from like today. If they were to do a movie about the 30s, it would look more like the 30s.
Sure. Yeah.
But-
Maybe I do feel like the budget was a little low.
It probably wasn't high. I don't know but I can look it up.
And
though.
if it wasn't, then they spent all the money on the music and the cabaret portion,
Yeah.
which is fine. I'm glad they did. That's the best part to me.
So the budget for this movie was $4.6 million, and I don't know what that. I'm trying to see if I can find an inflation calculator.
Yeah, I
to
couldn't
tell
tell
you
you.
what that is.
But I don't even know. Even if you tell me, okay.
Well, that's true. It doesn't. really make a
Avengers
difference.
movies use like 300 million. That's all I know.
Yeah, that's true. It doesn't really.
That's
it
the
doesn't
scale I have.
Really.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard. It's a hard story to follow, and I wouldn't say I like it because of the love portion. I don't care about the love story. I don't
Yeah.
really care about the history. I just care about
You care about the
Liza
dancing.
Minnelli, and I
Yeah.
care about the cabaret.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. Like, I just didn't really get it.
Yeah.
But I did have a couple things though
Mm-hmm.
that I wanted. We had a couple comments this week.
We did?
which was fun. Well, yeah,
I
I
need to
sent
pay
you.
attention.
I sent you one of them because it was
The
so a couple
did.
weeks ago we watched The Sixth Sense,
oh yeah, that was funny.
and somebody commented on one of our shorts
Yeah.
saying that
Do you know this person?
Mike. I don't know who Mike is.
Me
I'm not sure
neither.
who Mike is.
Okay, shout
So,
out to Mike.
Shout out to Mike. But kind of laughing at
No,
you
that was
because
funny.
you don't because the tagline, like you thinking the twist is the kids saying I see dead people, and that was the tagline in the trailer.
Like literally in the trailer. But
But-
let me explain.
You weren't born with it.
Yeah, I didn't watch the trailer, Mike. I wasn't alive when this movie was being advertised. Mike. I'm just kidding.
Thanks for the comment, though, Mike.
upset.
Thanks for watching that. And then Dan, one of the guys that I work with at the
Okay.
station, he's commented before, and he sent us a link, which I thought about this afterwards. We talked about the music for Halloween last
Yeah.
week, and he sent a link, and I realized I could have looked this up, but I didn't think about it at the time, for the song that we were talking about that might have Michael
Okay,
Jackson in
yeah,
it.
I think I know what you're about to say.
So it does have Michael Jackson
I think
in
it's
it.
like sampled.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
no, I don't think it's sampled. It actually has Michael Jackson singing in it, because it's also got his brother singing in it.
Okay, it's just the weirdest thing. It doesn't say anywhere by like featuring Michael Jackson.
Yeah, because it
At
was
least
by
on the song I have in my Rockwell.
Rockwell,
And
yeah.
it's I always thought like this has to be Michael Jackson. It sounds just like him. And then last time I listened to it, I was like, this is definitely Michael Jackson. Perhaps it's been like taken from something else.
Yeah, featuring guest vocals by brothers Michael Jackson and Jermaine. So both of them were
Okay.
singing in it.
On the version I have on my like Amazon app, it just says Rockwell. So every time it pops
Yeah.
up, I'm just like, oh, I guess
Yeah, I don't
it's
know.
not in it. But thank you for correcting us. We need to be fact checked.
Yeah, we're not the best.
Just
at
throw
times.
stuff out and
Yeah.
then we never talk about it again.
Yeah, I feel like that happens a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But
because it's just conversation.
yeah. But thanks, Dan.
Yes, thank you, and thanks for watching.
Yeah. So
We have another one? Or was those
no, that
two?
was it. Just those two.
No, when you sent me that, I was like laughing. The Mike comment, I was laughing out loud. Because it's all in good fun. I don't think he was like making, roasting.
No, he
me.
had a laugh. He had like
But
a laughing
his
emoji
comment
after
was,
it.
I love the wording. How could that possibly be the twist? It's literally the tagline for the trailer. And like, he's right. How could that possibly be the twist? I don't know. I wasn't around for that.
Oh yeah, but that. Oh man. Okay.
How could it? I don't know. Okay, we're watching Pulp
Yeah,
Fiction.
we're watching Pulp Fiction this week.
So watch it along if you'd like.
Yes, Pulp Fiction. I do like. Pulp Fiction.
I'm actually probably gonna watch it when I go home.
I
love.
I like Tarantino movies.
Love
A
Tarantino.
lot, so
I already have so much to say. I'll save it for next week, but
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'll
okay.
save
Well,
that.
watch it with us.
Yeah.
Remember to like, subscribe, comment below, and we'll try to shout you out next week. And we'll talk to you then.
Bye.